Hey, what's up? So today I'm in my shop working, and what I'm doing is I am sawing these locust logs in half. And this is for an architectural firm. And what they're going to do with them is so I'm just cutting these logs in half, and then what they're going to do is they're going to bore out a groove on each side and wrap it around a piece of, I think it's like a piece of metal tubing. And so these logs are pretty small. They've been debarked and they're locusts, so they're pretty hard. But I mean, they're not very big logs, and so yeah, that's what I'm working on today. Just cutting these logs in half, and then I'm setting them on my rollers here, and then I'm wrapping them in shrink wrap. They want to keep the logs together because I think they have them numbered, and they kind of have they have each log set aside for a specific post that they're going to do. So yeah, that's what I'm working on today, and hang out with us and watch us saw these logs in half. So if you noticed in the video, whenever I was sawing, I'm cutting these logs in half, obviously, but they put me some guidelines on each end of the log to try and hit. They don't really line up, but I'm just trying to get them close. The guy that I'm sawing these up for, he said it's just a guide, just try to get it close. They know it's not going to be perfect. So in this situation, like I had to lift the back end of or this side of the log up, this side that's over here on my mill, and this side it stayed down. And so what I'm doing is I'm trying to line it up to hit these lines. And so like on this side, what I'll do is I'll drop the saw head down to say 3.5 inches off my cross bunk. And then I'll say, okay, well, I'm at 3.5 inches and it hits the line on this side. So then I pull the mill down here, and then I drop it 3.5 inches and see if it hits the line that's on this side. That's kind of the center point on this particular log where we're just trying to cut it in half. And so so that's kind of what I'm doing. These logs are so small, they're really difficult to clamp down because of the force of that blade. When it hits this log, it wants to obviously pull the log off the mill because it's so forceful when that blade hits it. And trying to get a clamp on these little tiny logs is pretty difficult, but I'm able to do it. I'm able to get just enough on it. If you notice in that last cut that I did, like I had to drop my clamp down, and then I actually held it with my hand for just a second or two until I got past it, and then I put the clamp back on it to finish the cut out. But yeah, that's what I'm doing. And then what I'm doing is I'm just taking these. Like I said, they're so light, man. You can just pick these up by hand. And they want me to shrink wrap them on each side, so I'm just putting them on my conveyor here, and the same, with the same side. Like I'm going to put the butt end down here, like this end. Just put it down here, and just kind of match them up with each side, because like I said, they have these logs, they have these already kind of labeled, and what I'm doing is I'm just binding them up, making sure they stay together, and yeah, just trying to make it easy for the customer, because like I said, they already have a plan with these logs. That's why they got them labeled and cut up, so. Let me do that other end first, and then I'll get this in. just taking the shrink wrap that they gave me and shrink wrapping them up. Nothing complicated. Watch your finger. So Locust is, it's probably one of the most rot resistant and insect resistant woods in North America. And it's really hard, very hard. I mean, like it's, man, it's, you know, it's one of those woods, you could put it in the ground untreated and it would probably last 40 or 50 years before you needed to really do anything with it, or before you need to replace it. So a lot of the early settlers would use it for, they'd use it for railroad ties, they'd use it for like fence posts, and then they would also use it for like wagon wheels because it was just so hard, or it's so hard, it's just, you know, it's great for those uses. And it's difficult to mill properly, but these aren't so bad because the logs just aren't that big. But I've cut some for guys before, and man, this stuff is hard. So you just got to put a good sharp blade on there and just really go slow. You can probably tell in the video, I'm sawing pretty slow with it, just so I can get a good cut, good clean cut. So these guys, it just kind of minimizes their work whenever they get these logs back. They won't have to do so much sanding and stuff. So I was really trying to cut slow. Probably not the most efficient, but that's okay. Yeah. And then now I'm just gonna take that saran wrap or that plastic wrap stuff and just kind of wrap this stuff up. And yeah, but yeah, it's a really hard wood. I think like Washington and Thomas Jefferson actually planted a whole bunch of black locust on Mount Vernon and Monticello to just for the purposes of using this stuff for lumber, because it's so hard and it lasts so long. If you treat it, man, it'll really last. But yeah, we're gonna do the best we can with this, and hopefully these guys will be happy with this. I think they will be. I sent them some pictures the first day I started cutting just to make sure they were going to be okay with it, and he replied back and said it looks amazing. So that's good when your customer says that. And yeah, it takes a little bit of time to cut, right? Like this isn't something you're going to whip through really quick, but because you know, it takes quite a bit of time to set it up on the mill properly and just get it lined up. So, but nevertheless, pretty easy to do, not difficult work. This looks like a pretty good log. I got it up here, and I don't think I'm gonna have to adjust it very much. It's got a little space under this cross bunk, maybe a 1/2 inch, but it looks, the log is pretty good and straight, so I don't think I'm gonna have to do too much adjusting. I just want to get my blade lined up here. So I'm at 4 inches. My blade is, this right here is 4 inches off this cross bunk. And I'm just gonna see where I'm at here. Man, that's like right on it. So that is pretty close. Close enough. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna raise my saw head up and just push the mill down the track. And I'm gonna lower it again to 4 inches, and then we'll see where we are. If it lines up down here, and if it does, then I'll be in luck, man. I'll be able to make this cut. So as you can tell, it's lining up, man. It's pretty close, close enough, I think. So I know that when I get back down here, I'm gonna crank the mill up, and then what I'll do is I'll drop my saw head down to 4 inches on this cross bunk, off the cross bunk, 4 inches above. And then let me just take a quick peek here and look and make sure I'm going to clear my stops and clear everything so that when the blade comes down through here, I don't want to hit this. So that's kind of sticking up there a little bit. So I don't want to hit that. And we should be in good shape. So it should pop out somewhere pretty close to this line. It's got a little bit of rod in it right there at the end, but that's okay. And yeah, let's do it. So you may have noticed in that last one how, like, when I got to the end of that cut, that log like bowed up on me, and so when I cut, especially like cutting through a log like that, there's tension in that wood. And when I cut it, and when I get to the end of the cut, that I release that tension. And so that's what caused that log to kind of bow up like that. And so the best way to kind of get rid of that is to, I mean, I got some clamps. I can kind of pull it back together, and then use that wrap and just wrap it on each end. When these guys take these back, they'll probably have to do something to kind of clamp it down. But you can just take some like pipe clamps or something, and you can kind of pull it back together. No bigger than what those logs are. They're not real big. So something real big, I'm not sure what you would do. You'd have to probably wet it and just try to work it out. But yeah, man, when you cut through a log, you release the tension in that wood, and it kind of bows up on you sometimes. Some woods are more prone to do it than others, but yeah, man, that's a wrap on this project. I got one more log I'm going to finish out here, and yeah, hopefully I'll call these guys back and send them some pictures, make sure they're good with it. And yeah, that's a wrap on this project, and hang out with us and watch us finish sawing this last log.